what's up? Welcome back to my channel. So I know I'm wearing something a little bit different. I'm kind of looking like Little House on the Prairie. But I am in my PJs. I just like to wear just like little shirts and stuff when I'm getting ready. I'm getting ready for an event tonight. And whenever I go to events, I like really nice full coverage foundation. So I figured, hey, I already knew which foundation I was going to wear, and I haven't done a WOOP or WOMP in a little bit, and I haven't done one on a foundation lately. So I know I talked about this before, so if you already know how I feel about this, you already know how I feel. But today I'm going to be letting you know if this remarkable foundation from Marc Jacobs is a WOOP or a WOMP. I have tried out this foundation for quite a bit now, and this foundation comes in 22 shades, which I just love. Taste the rainbow. And it's kind of a pretty penny. $55. So we can kind of already say that the con is the price point. $55 is pretty pricey for a foundation. Now with this foundation, usually they're a standard 1 ounce. For this one, it's a 0.75 ounce. And also the applicator might be a kind of a downside for someone, but I personally don't mind it. I know it can get a little messy because when you take off the cap, it has this portion right here, and then it can get messy around, but I just kind of clean mine up. And it comes with this little dotter so that you can dot the foundation on your face. So right now I just did those dots, and just so you can kind of see the coverage on it, look how airbrushed my hand looks compared to this one. This is definitely a full coverage foundation. On the site, it says that if you apply 1 to 2 dots, it's going to be a sheer to natural finish. If you apply 3 up, or I think it just says 3, it's going to be a natural to full coverage. When you use this foundation, you definitely want to make sure you give it a shake. This is a foundation where they claim that there is so much pigment in there that is more pigment than any other full coverage foundation. So a little goes a long way. So with this foundation, you definitely need a primer. My personal favorite is the Makeup Forever Smoothing Primer. Whatever works for your skin is great. They do have a coconut base primer. I have not used it. I do have it. I haven't tried it out yet. I know that it's a more moisturizing formula. I personally just want a pore filler because I do have pores on this area of my face and kind of a little bit above here. This primer just works well for me. So just by looking on Sephora's site, it's saying that it has twice as much pigment as a full coverage, which I've already told you, and their main message is less foundation for more coverage. For the application of this foundation, I personally love to use the Beauty Blender. I find that it distributes the product really nice and well, and I find that by using the Beauty Blender, since it is a tad bit damp, it helps distribute the product a little bit more. Also, I find that it doesn't make my face as cakey. When I did use a flat top kabuki or my round top kabuki, it was okay. It buffed nicely into the skin, but I found that my foundation was looking a little bit more cakey. On the site, it does says of course to use their brush, but I like the Beauty Blender, aka Booty Bender. So now let's do a demo of the foundation itself. I'm going to give it a really nice shake. Now I'm going to do 3 dots on one section of my skin. 1, 2, 3. It does set pretty quick, so you want to make sure that you definitely work this in. And I would just work section by section just to avoid any patchiness. Blended out this side of my face, and I only use those 3 dots for this section. And I'm telling you, the coverage is so nice. It's really nice and glowy at the same time. It's not going to dry a flat matte. I would say it has a nice satin finish. If you see my previous videos, I'll link them down below where I am wearing this foundation. And on one of my videos where I put when am I getting married, to answer that question, in that video I did not even set the foundation itself, and that's what gave me an extra really nice glow. Just so you know, I do have combination skin. I am oily in my T-zone and normal all around. This is the 3 dots and no 3 dots or foundation side. Now I'm going to do 1 dot just so you can see how the coverage looks, because if you're someone that doesn't like full coverage but you still want a little something something, what I really like is that you can customize this foundation. So it's not necessarily always going to be full-blown full coverage. It could still give you that really nice soft glow. And there you go. You can still kind of see a little bit of peeking of my skin, but it still gives a really nice fresh glow. And I think you can definitely tell on camera how full coverage it was with just the 3. And then here's the 1 where it still looks really beautiful for every day. So now I'm just gonna do the rest of my face. A little reference is if you do have dry patches, unfortunately this foundation will cling to those dry patches. So just be careful with that. Just make sure you moisturize, and like I said, you definitely want to make sure that you prime. Now for me, I'm someone where I'm like super animated, so I do have some lines up here or wrinkles. And with these areas, I don't like to do too much coverage, especially if I don't really need it. I just like to maybe do 1 and 2. I don't want to do 3 or up, just because if you use too much of this foundation, it's unfortunately going to settle into the fine lines. And I noticed one day when I did use this, I probably put about 3 to 4 maybe dots, and I was going full blown, full force, like whoo. And unfortunately it settled in my fine lines and it wasn't so cute. In the beginning it looked fine, but as the day progressed, I noticed, I don't know, just accentuating those grid marks. Let me just do 2 more on this side just so I can balance out my face. I noticed that the rest is looking a little flawless and this one's looking a little... If you're someone that likes to carve out your eyebrows like a pumpkin, like myself, and really define the top, you have to be very careful with this foundation. Sometimes I would just use a darker concealer that was really nice and thin in formula, because one time I put the foundation to define it and I put too much and it looked really cakey up above my eyebrows. So you want to make sure that you use like the littlest bit if you're going to define it, because see, it already has so much pigment. You got to be careful right in that area, because you don't want to cake up for no reason. So just, I'm talking about like a so tiny in order to carve that top out. It has a really nice satin finish. It's not something that's really flat matte. Whenever I think of flat matte, I think of the L'Oreal Pro Matte, which I absolutely love that foundation if you have oily skin. But to me, that's just a little bit too matte. I still want a little bit of nice glow, and I just find that it just makes the skin look much more healthier. And I don't know, I just like the look of it, period. I mean, I know everybody has their own taste. So if you're someone that just wants to leave your face like this, I would definitely say that you can, because in that other video, I did wear my foundation like that all day and I really didn't see any problems. I would just say probably creasing, because I find that whenever you set your face, it's gonna help prevent creasing and also the longevity.
All the way up.
I did my under eye concealer and I set that, but I want to show you which powder I do really like, especially for full coverage foundations. I like something that's really nice and light, because if something's already full coverage, I don't want to add on too much just because I'm already covered. But in order to set it, I just like to use a translucent powder. So you can use like the RCMA, you can use Allure Mercier. I'm wrapping again. But for me, say that you want to maybe warm up the face or anything like that, or you just want to just set it with another powder. One of my favorites high-end ones is the Makeup Forever Pro Finish. To me, it gives the most awesome finish and it really just sets the foundation in place. It doesn't add any extra coverage. It's just very nice and light, just to do a nice light dusting of it, and you are good to go. So as you can see, I have a really nice flawless face. I'll add in my bronzer, my blush, my highlight, and I'll be right back. All right, you guys, so I went ahead and did the rest of my makeup. This is the final look. As you can see, this foundation gives you a really nice flawless look. Main thing is just a little goes a long way. Is this going to be a WOOP or a WOMP for me? What do you guys think? Definitely a WOOP. I have been trying out this foundation already, I think 2 months now, maybe a little bit longer. Probably one of the very first full coverage foundations where I truly love the way it looks, the way it feels. It doesn't feel heavy on my face. It lasts a long time. As far as longevity, one of my vlogs, I went to Disneyland, I wore it the whole entire day. Someone even said, how did you keep your skin looking flawless and all like that? It's just when I was testing it out, because I was like, hey, let's put it to the test. I'm going to be walking for a long time. It's going to be really hot at Disneyland. I'm going to be sweaty and just padding and all of that. And it lasted really well. Like I said, I got a little hair. For me, I barely have to blot with it. A little goes a long way. Don't put too much or else you're going to get too cakey, and use a balm primer. All right, guys, well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up if this helped you, and I will see you guys in my next one. Mwah!